Use Wagga Race 1 from today as a good form analysis 101 video, just to let punters better understand how I go about doing the form on a race and identifying good value selections. Wagga Race 1 was a 1600 metre maiden for a 27k tag. Details can be found up here, 1600 metres, and also 27k tag maiden, which are two of the most important factors in a race to identify the class. First thing that I want to do is, when I'm doing a race, is identify what the pace of the race is going to be like. And this is how I set it up. Okay, so I'll have the race details at the top, and then on the next line, write down the pace of the race. The pace of this race is going to be run at a slow pace. And the way that I determine that is pretty simple to work out. To do that, you've got to go through and work out where each horse is going to settle in the run. So if we go down through here, you'll see horse number 1, 8th at the 800, 8th at the 400, back marker. One potential leader, first. That's earlier in its career, hasn't been as close up since it come back from a spell. That's the 3, Aunt Bridge. 4, back marker, 3rd, 8th, 8th, 9th. We've only got one potential leader so far. Midfield numbers, 5th. This horse gets back. This horse stalks better than midfield, so still only one leader in the race. This horse gets back. This horse gets back, has led at its last start, so let's call it 1.5 litres in the race. This horse gets back, and Toro Magic, the other one that we backed, gets back, but at its last start went forward when it had its best career start, was 4th at the 800, 4th at the 400. And that's the start where it's finished 3rd behind Let's Go and Peak Contributor, which is the form reference that I use to identify its class level in this race. The other interesting factor to note about Toro Magic is that it's drawn in the 12 alleys. So with a lack of on-scene speed, only 1.5 litres in the race, there's every chance that this horse was going to go forward again from a wide gate and try and be on pace. Now this is the race preview that I did for the race, and you'll note down here near the bottom when I'm talking about Toro Magic, it's one of the important factors that I've noted, where from here I've said wide gate, a minor concern, but not a lot of early speed engaged, so every chance it will go forward and try to get a soft trip somewhere in the first half of the field. If it reproduces last start effort, configure here. Okay, so with that in mind, we know that there's only 1.5 litres in the race, as I've said earlier. Only 1.5 litres in the race, so it did go forward. It sat outside the leader, so there was every chance it was going to reproduce this 3rd at Wagga last start. Now, I'm going to go and have a look at the form around Lonhro Lily and Toro Magic and just show you how I've come up with their ratings next. Okay, first off, we'll look at Lonhro Lily. Okay, this one's well bred by Lonhro out of an Encosta de Lago mare. Breeding suggests it's going to get a mile. Comes into this having its 13th career start, 12 starts, 1 second, 3 thirds. Overly weak race this. There's not a lot of depth to this race. Now, this run 4 back here at Corowa, where it's ran second to My Boy Mo. It was beaten 3.8 lengths, 3.3 lengths, but it come from well back 10th at the 800 and 9th at the 400 to run second to My Boy Mo. Now that's a good indication that it's going to handle the distance up to 1600 metres well and keep on improving. Now, to further emphasise that, the last start 3rd at the Sapphire Coast is the run that we're going to go on. That was over 1408 metres, and in that race, it's come from 7th at the 800, 6th at the 400 to finish 2.2 lengths off the winner in 3rd. Now, if we have a look at the form out of that race, the winner of the race, Smokestack Lightning, well bred by Capitalist out of Corrali. It came into the race on the back of a 3rd at the Sapphire Coast 3 runs ago prior to that, where it closed off well, and then it's hit a new peak where it's won at the Sapphire Coast here, okay? The next horse home after that, Breakaway Week, which finished 2nd. The start prior finished 2nd at the Sapphire Coast, beaten 0.07 of a length. And the start prior to that ran 3rd to Vela Magic. So it's kept on improving. Lightly raced improver, only had 8 starts, 2 seconds and a 3rd. Then Lonhro Lily's finished in 3rd. And if we have a look over here at the margins, you'll see that there's a big gap 3rd to 4th, indicating the first 3 home are decent quality types. Now, if we go and have a look at the 4th horse home, which is Sebastian's Fly by Spieth, another good young sire on the make. It's ran 4th at its last start, beaten 4.4, 2 lengths behind Lonhro Lily. The start prior to that, it's only been beaten 0.5 of a length at Wagga in a good race behind King of Somewhere Hot, and second to Paper Minna, which franks the form line of the winner as well. And then 5th home, beaten 4.5 lengths, come out the next start and been beaten 6.4, 6 of 12 in a strong race behind Headstock, a strong maiden. And the 7th horse home, beaten 5.7, 3.5 lengths behind Lonhro Lily, has come out its next start and only been beaten 1.8 by Air Jordan in that good race yesterday at Maruya. So there's a lot there to suggest that Lonhro Lily's up to the level required to be winning in this company. And remembering it's a weak maiden, Lonhro Lily gets in here off the back of that run, carried 57, scope for more out to 1,600 metres. Add another length, that puts it 1 length above the level required to be winning here. 57 down to 55.5, that's another length, potentially 2 lengths above the class level. But because I've got a slight concern as a 12-start maiden, generally when a horse is 2 lengths above the class level, the par rating that I use is $8 is the par, $4 is 2 lengths above par, $2 is 4 lengths above par. And as you can see, I've got Lonhro Lily rated a 5.50 chance. So instead of rating it $4 based on being 2 lengths above the par level required to win, I've actually marked it back a bit, knowing that it's a slow tempo, it's going to get back, the pace scenario isn't going to suit, and I'm not sure if that 2 lengths above par is of true merit. But still, this is a weak race, and these are the only 2 horses that rate above the level required to be winning here. So that's Lonhro Lily, and that's the form around Lonhro Lily. Next, we'll have a look at Toro Magic. Okay, now Toro Magic. Toro Magic, well bred by Toronado out of a Catbird mare. Toronado's doing good things as a son of High Chaparral. Gets sprinters, gets milers, and gets stayers. If you go on his last start 3rd here, which I mentioned previously earlier, where he was closer to the speed and sat 3rd in the run, 4th in the run, 4th at the 400, which we predict he was going to do again here, get closer to the front end on a slow tempo. That's the run that we're going to go off. It's his peak level. He's finished 3rd to Let's Go, beaten 2.9 lengths. Now, the winner of the race, Let's Go, deceivingly well bred by Pendragon, the good son of El Nardim, who's out. El Nardim's by Danzig out of El Sewell, one of the best female lines in the distaff in the stud book worldwide. This is a win here at Wagga, where he knocked off Peak Contributor. The start prior, he finished 2.5 lengths 3rd to Monty Outlander over 1,600, and then franked it again, running 3rd in another good race behind Pure Hydrogen. The 2nd horse home, Peak Contributor, by Contributor, another son of High Chaparral. Lightly raced, showed good trial form at Canberra prior to debut. Then ran 3rd at Nowra over an unsuitable 1,400 metres. 4th to Monty Outlander in the good race behind Monty Outlander and Temple Garden. And then has ran 2nd, peak level, behind Let's Go in the race that Toro Magic's finished 3rd in. Now, if we have a look at the margins, his Let's Go peak contributor, MJ, finished 4th in that race, Czar Queen. If we go and have a look at the margins, you'll see that Toro Magic's been beaten 2.8, 4 lengths back to 3rd, 4.7 back to 5th, and a big gap back to 6th and further back. Now, the horse that finished 4th, MJ, we've got a bit of an opinion of. A good maiden by Savabeel. Prior to that, he ran 2nd at Albury, only beaten 2 lengths, which puts Toro Magic on a par with the 27.30k maiden. And prior to that was only beaten 0.7 of a length by Seisha Jewel at Wagga. 5th horse home, Czar Queen by Zariz, good sire around the area, consistently gets winners, beaten 4.7, 2 starts prior, ran 2nd to Amen Brother, over 1,300, beaten 2.3, with King of Somewhere Hot further back in that maiden. King of Somewhere Hot come out and broke his maiden at its next start. So the form's starting to stack up to suggest that Toro Magic's 3rd is a new peak level. Now, another important factor about Toro Magic is, last start where he's ran 3rd in this race, he carried 59 kilos. He drops to 55.5, which is a 3.5 kilo drop. 1.5 kilos equals the length. That puts him just above 2 lengths above the par required to be winning here. But once again, a little bit of a query about whether he would go forward under the slow tempo being drawn to Wide Alley. 2 lengths above par would rate him at $4 on a natural level versus a class rating. And as you can see, I've marked him at 5.50. Instead of marking him at 4.0, 2 lengths above the par level, I've marked him at 5.5. So basically at the end of the day, there's only 2 horses above the par in this race required to be winning here. The par being $8, that tells me it's a weak maiden. These 2 are the only 2 above the par level, equal top rated. So with that in mind, both being equal top rated, they're going to bet $7 Lonhro Lily, $7 Toro Magic, and as you saw from the result, they drew away in deep stretch to win this race pretty comfortably.
Lonhro Lily's
this is Toro Magic hitting the front and Lonhro Lily working home on down the outside.
Toro Magic takes over from Lonhro Lily, Diamond Flyer, Timaru further out on the track, and Little Complicators getting into the open. The leader is Toro Magic from Lonhro Lily, running a big race on the outside. Then Art Bridge, Lonhro Lily goes up the Toro Magic.
As you can see, they draw away from the rest, putting a margin on them, just like I thought they would.
Toro Magic, Little Complicators
clearly superior. And that's how we found Toro Magic and Lonhro Lily in that race. They did exactly as expected. Toro Magic crossed, sat outside the leader, while Lonhro Lily followed its usual pace scenario, went back and ran on from well back, as it has in all its other starts. 10th, 9th at the 800 to finish second to my boy Mo 4 starts ago. And then last start came from 7th in a field of 8 to run 3rd to Smokestack Lightning. That's Form Analysis 101 video, how we found the winners and the second horse at $7, Quinella $17, Exacta $31 in Wagga Race 1 on Monday. Thanks.